Okay, so in this video, I'm going to teach you an example and kind of the basic points about something called inductive forcefulness. Okay. Other textbooks will call this inductive strength. Okay. And that's good for you to know, especially if you're maybe a philosophy major. But for this class, we'll just call it inductive forcefulness. Now, I'll start with an example. Let's say I know somebody tells me of someone, and all they tell me is this. David, they tell me their name's David, lives in Canada. Now, given that I like to make inferences, I conclude, well, that means David owns a coat. David owns a coat. Now, here's the thing. Does that follow validly? Okay. Is it true? Like, if the premise is true, does it follow that David must own a coat? Not really, right? It's possible that someone live in Canada and not own a coat. So we need a premise to try to make this valid. And maybe we could do it like this. Now, one way you could try to do it is, like we've learned, make this into a modus ponens. David lives in Canada. If David lives in Canada, then he owns a coat. Therefore, David owns a coat. I'm going to do it more the way the book does it. So right now what we're going over is content from page 115 and 116. I might try to make this argument valid by saying this. Everyone who lives in Canada owns a coat. Okay. Now we've got a valid argument, but the problem is it's clearly premise 2 is false. We don't have a sound argument. Okay, so that's kind of too bad. But I feel like there's something to this inference from David lives in Canada to David owns a coat. Something like it's still a good inference, right? Well, what we need maybe is this premise. Instead of P2, write this. So let's say everyone who lives in Canada owns a coat. We can say almost everyone who lives in Canada owns a coat. Therefore, David owns a coat. Now, this argument seems much better. Almost everyone who lives in Canada owns a coat. David lives in Canada. Therefore, David owns a coat. Now, the problem with it is and it might be like that all the premises are true, too. Actually, it probably is true. But it's not deductively valid, right? Almost everyone who lives in Canada owns a coat. David lives in Canada. Does it follow that David owns a coat? Well, he might be one of those few, it says almost everyone. He might be just one of those few who do not own a coat. Okay? But here's what this argument does have. If these premises are true, then at least the conclusion is probably true. Okay? And that's what inductive forcefulness is about. Okay? Validity says if a premise is true, conclusion has to be true. Inductive forcefulness, or inductive strength, says that if the premise is true, conclusion is probably true. Okay, now, I'm going to give a more clear, precise definition of this soon, but this is just to get you the idea of inductively forceful arguments, which are probabilistic. In the next video, we'll learn more about what probability is. So stay on your seats, fasten your seatbelts, and we'll keep going.